Have you ever tried to change a bad habit, only to fall right back into it after a few days? Or maybe you've set a goal to start a new habit, like exercising or meditating daily, but somehow you just can't make it stick. Don't worry, you're not alone. Breaking old habits and forming new ones can feel like a battle against yourself. But what if I told you there's a science-backed way to make it easier? A way that uses psychological principles to help you rewire your brain and actually make these changes last? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of habits and behavior change. Whether you're trying to quit smoking, start eating healthier, or build a productive morning routine, understanding how your mind works can give you the upper hand. We're not just talking about willpower or motivation. We're talking about real, research-based strategies that can transform the way you approach your habits. First, let's talk about what habits actually are. A habit is a behavior that's repeated so often that it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Your brain does it on autopilot. Think about brushing your teeth, grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, or snacking when you're stressed. Habits are the brain's way of saving energy. The more we repeat a behavior, the more our brain creates a neural pathway that makes that behavior easier and faster to perform. Now, this can be good news or bad news depending on the habit. The good news is that the same process works for building good habits. But first, you need to understand why your brain sticks to the old ones. Charles Duhigg, in his book The Power of Habit, explains the habit loop. It's made up of 3 parts: cue, routine, and reward. Every habit starts with a cue, which is the trigger for the behavior. For example, seeing your phone might be a cue to check social media. Then comes the routine, the action itself, like scrolling through Instagram. Finally, there's the reward, which could be anything from the dopamine hit you get from seeing likes to feeling connected to others. So if you want to change a habit, you have to break the habit loop. That means identifying your cues, changing your routine, and being mindful of the reward you're seeking. Let's start with breaking old, unwanted habits. Step 1 is to identify your cue. Most of us engage in bad habits without even realizing what triggers them. Is it boredom, stress, certain people or environments? Once you identify the cue, you can work on interrupting the cycle. For example, if stress leads you to eat junk food, can you replace that action with something else that gives you a similar reward? Maybe instead of eating, you could go for a walk or practice deep breathing to reduce stress. You can also make the habit harder to do. If you're trying to cut back on phone use, for instance, keep your phone in another room or turn off notifications so the cue isn't constantly in front of you. By disrupting the routine part of the habit loop, you start breaking down the automatic nature of the habit. Now, what about forming new positive habits? The key here is consistency. Your brain needs repetition to form those new neural pathways, and the best way to ensure repetition is to make the habit as easy and rewarding as possible. Start small. If your goal is to exercise more, don't expect yourself to go to the gym for an hour every day from the start. Instead, start with something so small it feels almost too easy. Maybe 5 minutes of stretching each morning. This reduces the mental resistance to starting and helps you build momentum. As James Clear says in his book Atomic Habits, it's all about the 1% improvements that compound over time. Another effective tool is habit stacking, which means attaching a new habit to an already established one. For example, if you want to meditate daily, you could stack that habit onto your morning routine, say right after brushing your teeth. Since brushing your teeth is already a habit, it acts as a cue for the new one. The role of environment. One of the most underrated aspects of habit change is your environment. Your surroundings have a massive impact on your behavior. If you want to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with healthy options and make them easy to grab. If you're trying to spend less time on social media, delete the apps from your phone or use apps that limit your screen time. Think of your environment as a silent force shaping your habits. If you set up your space in a way that supports your new habits and makes old ones harder to follow, you'll find it much easier to stay on track. Mindset and self-identity. Your mindset also plays a critical role in habit formation. Many people approach behavior change with the wrong mindset, thinking, I have to do this, instead of, I am the type of person who does this. If you start to view yourself as the kind of person who exercises regularly, who eats healthy, who gets up early, then those habits become part of your identity. Research shows that when habits align with our self-identity, we're more likely to stick with them. So instead of just focusing on what you want to do, think about who you want to become, handling setbacks. And finally, let's talk about setbacks. They're inevitable, and that's okay. The key is not to let one slip-up throw you off course. Studies show that missing a habit once doesn't actually affect your long-term progress. The important thing is getting back on track as soon as possible. Remember, habit formation isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Conclusion. So whether you're trying to break a bad habit or form a new one, the principles are the same. Understand your cues, design your environment, start small, and be kind to yourself when setbacks happen. By leveraging the psychology of habits, you can take control of your behaviors and create lasting change. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what habits you're working on changing. I'll see you in the next video. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future content on how to master your mind and improve your life.